Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Thursday, September 24th, 2020, and here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market front, it was down over there in Asia, down over there in Europe, and boop, boop, up a little bit here in the States. Again, the numbers mean nothing. The whole game is rigged. We all know the deal. The Federal Reserve pumping in all that monetary methadone, and governments pumping in all that fiscal stimulus, artificially propping things up. Gold prices, they took a hit. You know, they're in the 1800 range, 1850s, 1860s, 1870s range. And silver's down into the $22, $23 an ounce range. And again, I only look at this temporarily. You read why gold went down. Gold fell to its lowest in 2 months on Thursday as the safe haven dollar continued its advance on fears around the economic recovery, while fading hopes for more fiscal stimulus also weighed on the yellow metal. You know what that is.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's not about fiscal stimulus. They're dumping all this cheap money in all over the world. You look at the facts. Government debt rose at a 59% pace in Q2. Federal Reserve reported the total household balance sheet in the U.S. rose to nearly $119 trillion in April through June. A 6.8% increase from the first quarter. Business debt soared in the second quarter as the U.S. dealt with the coronavirus pandemic. No, they didn't deal with the pandemic. They dealt with a lot of crazy people, boys and girls, politicians that locked down the economy. Don't blame it on the coronavirus. The gain in net worth was driven almost exclusively by the stock market. You got it. Of which 10% own almost 90% and 1% owns 52%. So the rest is all a bunch of crap. Federal government debt exploded at a 58.9% pace. Non-financial business debt rose 14%. State government debt rose 3.5%. So, I mean, the markets are a joke, and they're going to crash. And I believe that it may happen before the presidential reality show is over in November. So, oil prices, you know, they're flat. You know, they went up a tiny bit because supply went down. Demand is way down on this. Weekly jobless claims rise unexpectedly as stimulus boosts fade. What? Unexpectedly? What are you talking about? And the numbers are rigged. Once you're no longer collecting unemployment, by the way, you're no longer unemployed in the USSA, thanks to those slimy Repulsivekins and Democrats who changed the laws to build up the fraud the way it is. On Wednesday, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell called for more fiscal support, telling lawmakers, what lawmakers? How about jerk-offs? How about slime balls? How about nothings that never worked a day in their lives that have been sucking off the public tit? Lawmakers. What a bunch of crap. They talk to you like you're still in high school, and you are, because we never got out of high school. We got the same shitheads that were principals in high school and superintendents of high school telling us what to do. Lawmakers, criminals that steal our money and give it to the rich, criminals that take us to war and slaughter millions of innocent people and steal trillions from us so they can do it. People better grow up, man. This thing's going down big. It's going down big. You look around the streets where people look like homeless all over. People walking with knapsacks all over their, everything they own on their back, not only in big cities and little towns. Someone, a paisano, very generously sent us a wonderful, wonderful gift. A gift for people that cannot afford the Trends Journal, to give it to them. And that's what we need more of. And thank you so much from my heart. People better support us. I'm fighting. I'm out there holding rallies to unite for peace and restore freedom. And Black Lives Matter, it didn't matter to them. They didn't come when we invited them because I'm on Alex Jones and I had Judge Napolitano here. I fight with Occupy Peace. I give every ounce, and so does our staff, to put out the best Trends Journal, the best information you could get anywhere in one magazine in the world. So please do what you can to support us. Because if we don't unite to fight, it does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. If we don't unite and fight for liberty, love, joy, and beauty, these lawmakers are going to destroy our lives as they're doing it right in front of us. So what do? I give you the facts on how they're doing it. Top Fed officials, as I mentioned, urge more spending. You know what that is.
Bullshit.
What spending? Who the hell you talking to? Going deeper in debt and then raising our taxes. So again, the numbers are here. So the bigs could get bigger and the rich could get richer. What's this bullshit about spending? Oh, Celente, calm down. Calm down. Yes, all aboard. Next train to Auschwitz. Don't fight. China's currency on track for best week in 10 months. Yep. The Chinese currency has rallied in recent months as export growth and investor appetite for onshore debt has sent flows of dollars into the country. The rise in the renminbi, which has come during a period of the weakest for the greenback, means the currency is heading for its best quarter on record. What have I been saying? For how long? The 20th century was the American century. The 21st century is the Chinese century. The business of America became war. The business of China is business. Dollar going up. What a bunch of crap that is. It's only going up because the other ones are so weak. Yeah. And what else we have here? You ready? Not making it up. Here's the fact. U.S. is richest country. Yeah. But inequality grows. The United States led the world in growth of financial assets last year thanks to tax cuts and booming stock market. But the distribution of wealth was more unequal than any other country, according to a study published yesterday by Allianz, the German insurance and world stockbroker, bonds, cash, and other, All right? Tiny little story, that big in the Wall Street Journal. You got it? We become nothing but plantation workers on the global plantation of Slavelandia. How bad is it out there? Well, just a little bit here. Let's see. 6 months into the pandemic, America's offices sit half empty. Not 6 months into the pandemic. 6 months in the pandemonium caused by the slimy little lowlives. Name them. Little gruesome Newsom, arrogant Andy Cuomo, witless little Whitmer, one after another, go over there to New Zealand. That little dictator, what's his name? Little Danny Andrews, little Danny Andrews. Oh, how about the women over there in New Zealand locking it down? Oh, yeah, worst recession. Go one after another. Return to workplace vary widely by location. Offices and retail, blah, blah, warehouses are still below 50% of their pre-pandemic activity. That's in San Francisco. In Miami, which is dependent on tourism, employees, and they visited retail stores were at 92% of their pre-pandemic occupancy. All right? They didn't lock down the joint. And then remember how everybody went after Florida? How many people died in Florida so far? 13,795 out of a population of 21.5 million. How many died in New York? Oh, we love Andy Cuomo. We're gutless little liberals. Yeah, we love him. 33,000. 193 out of 19.5 million. Dust off and boot up. Wall Street returns fitfully. For the most part, though, the finance industry in New York City, which employs about 350,000 people, has embraced caution. Just 8% of the city's 1.2 million office workers returned this summer, according to Partnership for New York City. And the numbers ticked up to no more than 15% now. City of London abandons plans for widespread return to office. Thousands of staff, some of the City of London's largest employers, were told to remain working at home on yesterday. They locked down more stuff over there. More than half, 55%, of all small travel businesses in the United States are at risk of either taking longer than 6 months to recover or never recovering at all, according to data released Wednesday by the U.S. Travel Association. As financial strain mounts, big hotels bow and buckle. Many of New York's biggest hotels closed their doors in March when the coronavirus wiped out tourism. Not when the coronavirus wiped out tourism. This is disgusting prostitute.
That is bullshit.
They closed it down. The virus didn't close it down. A little piece of scum, a little piece of shit, like de Blasio and Cuomo killed the tourism. Oh, and now you're from 34 states. If you come to New York, you gotta be quarantined. This is total crap that they keep putting out. The politicians have destroyed our lives in front of us. Don't get excited, Celente. All aboard. Next train to Auschwitz. Hey, you Jews. Don't you fight back? Heil Hitler! Hail Cuomo! Up yours, gruesome! You better fight. They're destroying us. How much more do I have to show you? Oh, I'll show you some more. Crisis tips historic hotel into bankruptcy. The operator of the Martinique Hotel, one of Manhattan's oldest, filed for Chapter 11, blah, 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 blah. Oh, Ralph Lauren to cut 15% of the workforce. Met Opera cancels its entire season. In 2020 and 2021, all the musicians, everybody, all the actors, don't worry, everything, it'll come back. It'll come back. Argentina's economy woes send companies fleeing. Another place, they closed down the whole place. 14,000 deaths, 45 million people, 0.031%, all right, of the population. died from the virus, and you know who's dying? According to the CDC, 94% of the people had 2.6 pre-existing chronic conditions. The coronavirus has dealt a blow to Argentina's economy, which is still under one of the strictest and longest lockdowns in the world. Great, because the economy was down the crapper already. It's in every country. Hey, except Sweden. No, don't talk about Sweden. Don't talk about, no. We don't want to know the facts. Keep going with
Bullshit.
yeah. Over 500 businesses in Japan go bankrupt amid pandemic. Not amid pandemic. Has nothing to do with it. All of the bullshit coming from the moronic politicians. All right? 60,000 premature deaths caused by air pollution last year in Japan. 1,512 deaths from the virus. Out of 126 million people, 1,512 deaths out of 126 million people, 60,000 died from dirty air. Or the percentage deaths from the virus is 0.00196%. 0.00196%. And that little dictator over there, Premier Danny Andrews, look at this little crapster, look at this little jerk, has dashed hopes for an early return to freedom for millions of Melbourneians. Mr. Andrews promised to announce safe and steady steps at Melbourne's 8-week shutdown on Sunday. Quote, Sunday will not be a day of massive steps. The roadmap does not speak to that. There could be outdoor religious services for up to 5 people. They're not going to reschedule leaving 5 kilometers from home until October 26th. They got a model they're using. They got a model. Yeah, what model? Where's the fight? What do you got? About 800 people dead in Australia? They have a population of 25.5 million people? And over 500 of them are elderly people from nursing homes? Yeah, we don't want to know the facts. UK reimposes virus restrictions. Tourist returned virus to Croatia. Look at this, right? Tourist returned. How many people died in Croatia? 4 million people they got? 261 deaths, or 0.0065%. And they make a big deal out of cases of which 99.8% of the people recover. Pandemic knocks 10th off incomes in workers worldwide. Here's a good one. Britons would go to prison before being injected as distrust of COVID vaccine grows. And in a new Axios Ipsos poll, vaccine resistance grows. The share of Americans eager to try a first-generation coronavirus vaccine dropped significantly. In the latest installment of the poll, just 13% said they were willing to try it immediately. 6 out of 10 Americans now say they don't want to take a COVID-19 vaccine. And it goes on. Again, more in the Trends Journal. Again, you look at the current issue that we put out, 75 pages of facts, data, information to help you prepare for the future. You don't get this anywhere else. If you could show a magazine that comes close to it, please send it to me. gsalenti@trendsresearch.com. Nothing comes close to it. Please do what you can to spread the word of liberty, love, joy, and beauty. Subscribe to the Trends Journal. Have friends subscribe, resubscribe, subscribe, whatever. Because the more we have, the more we could do, and we're doing everything we can. Italy's harsh lesson helps keep second wave at bay. You know what this article is.
Bullshit.
Yeah, you read the whole thing. They're they're fining people. Public health officials cite high public acceptance of restrictions. such as compulsory mask wearing in shops and on public transit. Visitors to bars and restaurants must write down their names and numbers. Isn't that great, huh? Irish government on Thursday, today, imposed tightened COVID-19 restrictions. Not the Irish government, the Irish crapheads, a bunch of slimy little jerks running the show. And again, we wrote a lot about this in the Trends Journal. There was an election there this year before this happened, and there was an anti-establishment movement that's now over, like it's happened in so many other places. And what do? They're banning indoor restaurant dining and non-essential travel in the northwestern city of Donegal. Donegal, which has registered over 120 cases per 100,000 people. Cases. You know how many people, you know what the population death in China is? 0.035% of its population. That's out of 5 million people. That's how many people died of the virus. The percentage, 0.035%, and they're locking the place down. Again. Post-COVID restaurant and hotel recovery could take nearly 10 years in Canada, according to the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses. And there you got 80% of the people in Canada died from nursing homes. You got 37.8 million people. When you take out that 80% that died from nursing homes, 0.0048% weren't from them. And when you put them in, it's the grand total of 0.024%, and they lock down the place. Online school programs questioned. Yeah, no kidding. Again, we write all about it. And what else do we have here? We've got a lot. We won't be able to go over all of it. It'll be in your Trends Journal. But there's one over here I want to show you. This is from the Wall Street Journal. GOP probe says Hunter Biden's work raised concern. This is about his little boy, Joe Biden's little boy, Hunter Biden, who got $50,000 a month from Burisma Energy and doesn't know, as we would say in the Bronx, dick about shit about the energy industry, can't speak the language of them Ukrainians over there, never been to the place and gets the job. And this is how the toilet paper record said it. Republicans' inquiry finds no wrongdoing by Biden in Ukraine. Pure propaganda. And then finally, Trump and his base minimize virus ahead of the election. Again, this is the toilet paper record, and they make this statement over here talking about the Las Vegas this month, talks about the rally they had there where people didn't wear masks. The state has been devastated by the pandemic. State has been devastated. Let's see. The death rate is 0.013%. Devastated. All those people that didn't wear the masks, they didn't die, did they? The rally I had over here on the 4th of July, I'm not Gerald Celente, I'm C2, Celente's dead. Napolitano, when you see him on Fox, keynote speaker, he's dead too. We all died from the virus. The virus rates went down. Again, who's dying from the virus? You know all the facts. Elderly people from nursing homes, people suffering from pre-existing chronic conditions. Very small percentage of healthy people are dying from it. And you do die sometimes. I'm mentioning this because this is going to be the 2020 election. Masks or no masks, lockdown or no lockdown. That's going to determine who wins. And right now, Trump, 2020, by default. Default of the Democrats for the dumb jerk they got running the show. Biden.
Bullshit.
Biden. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's trends in the news. The COVID-19 war has changed the world, But who's prepared? What's next? It's in your Trends Journal. Trends Journal subscribers are prepared. Subscribe to the Trends Journal. Read history before it happens. From the world leader in trend forecasting.